Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the horrific visions and discussing 4 mounts that you can obtain between both the Orgrimmar and Stormwind versions. So I've done videos on Stormwind only mounts and I've done videos on Orgrimmar only mounts. These mounts will require you to do actions between both versions, and in this video we will cover 2 incredibly complex but really worthwhile mounts, the Void-Chrystal Panther and the Felreaver Deathcycle. Now before you do any of this, you will have to unlock a Mask of Madness. This will require you to complete all 4 objectives once of either delve of either horrific vision, being Orgrimmar or Stormwind, but you will have to unlock a Mask of Madness. You will then have to have the Mask of Madness active, especially for the Void-Chrystal Panther and also the Deathcycle. If you do not have your mask active, you will not be able to get rewards. So it is absolutely crucial that you have at least one mask active while you are doing the horrific visions. I will go through each mount, starting with the 2 easier ones to obtain that you can just do while walking through the visions, and then we'll do the Void Panther, and then we'll talk about the Felreaver Deathcycle, which is probably the longest and most complex process. In terms of masks, just be careful which one you take, because you don't want to take one that's going to make it too difficult for you to actually complete anything. Now there are 2 mounts you can just pick up while traversing between either of the horrific visions. The male Muncher, which will randomly spawn whenever you activate a mailbox, or the Nestling Swarmite, which will activate whenever you click on piles of trash. You can find these across Orgrimmar and Stormwind, and just basically click them every time you run past, so that you have a chance for the rare to spawn. It may sometimes feel like it takes forever, but eventually the rare will spawn and you'll be able to grab yourself some pretty dang cool mounts. Male Muncher, and then the Nestling Swarmite, which is kind of like a giant bug that you can grab from the trash piles. So that covers 2 super easy mounts. Now we get to talk about the bigger ones. The first one we'll start with is the Void-Chrystal Panther. You will have to start this process by beating or defeating Big Keech in the Vision of Orgrimmar. So in the Vision of Orgrimmar, you can find Big Keech just by the auction house. So if you go to the right of the auction house before you take on Rexar, you will find him there. Now if you are a jewel crafter, you'll pick up Design Void-Chrystal Panther. If you're another jewel crafter, you will not pick up the recipe, but either way you will pick up the Void-Bound Orb of Mystery. You need this before you are able to collect the rest of your pieces. Now there's one more component you will have to find in either Stormwind or Orgrimmar. These are the black blood infused bars. You can find them in the 2 locations you're seeing on screen now. In Orgrimmar, it's just past the ritual sacrifice area in the first zone on the left. And then for the Stormwind, it's by the dwarf blacksmith area. The other items you'll require is unusual gems. These will be given to you once you have defeated Valeria and completed a Stormwind session with a Mask of Madness active, and 20 Shadow-infused Onyx, which will be given to you whenever you complete a horrific vision based on how many bosses you defeated. It will take you around 5 fully completed horrific visions, give or take, to obtain enough Shadow-infused Onyx. That'll cover it. Once you have all those pieces, you can simply go to your crafting order vendor, speak to them, arrange for the Void-Chrystal Panther to be crafted for you. If you are a jewel crafter, you can obviously craft it for yourself. Wait a little bit and then you are absolutely good to go. Now we'll move on to the Felreaver Deathcycle, which is a much more complex integrated mount. I'm going to try and explain this mount as best I can in the segments that I can. So in terms of the Felreaver Deathcycle, so the Voidfire Deathcycle has to be located in Stormwind first. you have to have one mask active. As you enter the Dwarven District, if you go to kind of like the Hangman's Noose area at the back, you will find Haemar the Devout. Defeating Haemar will leave a little ghost of a motorcycle. Speak to the Felreaver Deathcycle, and you will be able to essentially claim for yourself that mount. It will then pop up in Dornagal, but don't even worry about that yet. Next, we need to pick up 2 pieces from Horrific Visions. The first is the Magic Manifold. This is a piece you can find outside the auction house with a Mask of Madness active. And then the engine block, which you can find inside an engineering shop in the drag area of the Vision of Orgrimmar. The reason I mentioned these 2 first is because the rest of the pieces, or the main pieces from the Horrific Visions, will come from completion rewards. So you will get, for example, the Twisted Skull Scythe handlebars by looting Felreaver's end chest in a Vision of Stormwind with a mask active. So you have to beat Felreaver, then go and claim the chest. Depleted Void-Crystal will come from Embrick's end chest. The Void-Scarred Boarhide will come from Rexar's end chest. And then the Void Flame Resistant Hide and the Tentacle Spokes will come from respective chests for Kelsey's end chest, Khan's end chest, Wormbane's end chest, basically for all the different districts that you complete. So essentially you have to do one full run of each once you've unlocked the cycle. That's basically how it works out. Once you've got all the completion rewards, once you've completed one full run of each, Stormwind and Orgrimmar, after you've picked up the Void Cycle, and after you've picked up each individual piece from them, your next stop should be Big Keech. Now Big Keech can be located in the Valley of Eternal Blossoms. This is where we have, the Golden Pagoda. You need to reverse time, so you will have to speak to Chromie and reverse back to time, and then you can find Big Keech there in the map location that I showed you. Next is some purchase items. So these are items that we have to purchase off the auction house. All of these have to be gold grade, so they have to be the highest tier of crafting quality. They cannot be lower tier. So if you have the ability to buy them with, for example, gold quality, you have to buy that item with gold quality. So safety switch, you'll need 1, 3 whimsical wiring, a storm touched weapon wrap, etc. If you are obviously a crafter that can make these, you're welcome to make them instead, but I just purchased them off the auction house, it makes it easier. You'll then have to craft or get someone to craft for you a irresistible red button. It's made by Kazalgar engineers. You will need to buy these items as well, except for one special material, which is the Pile of Rusted Scrap. Now, Pile of Rusted Scrap is a soul-bound item. You cannot actually get given it by other players. There are 2 ways of obtaining Rusted Scrap. You can either get it as an engineer, so if you have the engineering profession and you run around and just beat up enemies, you can click and get Rusted Scrap as droppings from defeated enemies. So if you want to do this super easy, drop one of your professions and go and pick up Rusted Scrap with that character. You will be more than fine and get it done fairly quickly. If you obviously don't want to drop your profession, then you are going to need to speak to scrap vendors. Now, any engineering vendor will sell a couple pieces of scrap. It will only be 2 or 3, so you'll have to go to at least 3 or 4 vendors. I've put the names here, but I'm also going to leave the link in the description to the vendor list, so that players can just, pick vendors from that list and go and get them, because it's just a lot easier than linking the 20 different map locations in the video. For the final bit, once you have all the pieces that you need, so once you've done everything up till now, all you have to do is go to the Fel Cycle. You can find it literally right by the entrance to the Horrific Visions. You can see to the left, kind of by where all the weaponsmiths are. When you have the items from your inventory, you will be able to put them in the Void Cycle. So you're going to have to go to your inventory and click your individual items, your engine block, your manifold, your handlebars, etc. When you click them, it'll use the reagents that you have to complete them, and then once you've done that, you can then install them into the cycle, which is obviously great. So essentially you are pretty much all good to go. very, very, very cool mount. Once you have the pieces, just start installing them. Once pieces are fully installed, you'll automatically have the mount added to your collections tab. And that's that. That is absolutely everything you need to know. Obviously, in terms of like these mounts, I think they're very, very cool. I think they are absolutely awesome. I, for one, think that they are incredibly great, fun experiences to do. And if you're really dedicated, it only takes you the 2-week cycle. It only takes you to do 1 week of Stormwind and 1 week of Orgrimmar, and you can get these mounts. It's not like you have to grind too hard. At most, you have to do around 4 or 5 horrific visions in total. It's more just making sure that you're picking up the right items in the process of doing so. And honestly, the mounts are well worth it. Both are incredibly cool, especially if you're into the more purple side of things. And yeah, I just think they're really, really well worth it. So that's pretty much it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you need more help. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care and bye.